Never before had Valia felt such despair. Her life had been marked by hardship, bitterness, and injustice, but what had just happened was beyond comprehension. "I wouldn't survive this. How could it be? He said he loved me," she whispered, her voice filled with disbelief. Valia didn't shed any tears, although she couldn't fathom why. It felt as if her tears were waiting for someone to be there, someone to empathize with her, so that she could finally release her emotions and find solace in their presence. But there was no one there, and there couldn't be anyone at that moment. After the consecutive loss of her parents, Valia found herself completely alone, without siblings or her own family. She resided in her parents' house, managing to scrape by with the company of her cat and dog, who provided some semblance of companionship. Then fate brought Rustam into her life, a man with whom she fell deeply in love. Valia was captivated by Rustam's handsome Oriental features, as well as his intellect and practicality. They started dating, and after 6 months, they decided to live together. They didn't bother with a formal marriage or a wedding ceremony. Who would we celebrate the wedding with? They reasoned. Valia has no family, and Rustam's relatives are all far away. As for the official registration, Rustam explained that as soon as he obtained a replacement for his lost passport, he would promptly take Valia to the registry office. Valia was filled with joy as she shared her life with the man she loved. It felt like all the hardships were finally behind her, and a future filled with happiness awaited her. After selling her parents' suburban house, they made the decision to move to the city. However, instead of purchasing an apartment, they opted to rent one in a tall building. It was Rustam's idea, fueled by the desire to utilize the funds from the sale to start their own business. "We need to establish ourselves, open a small enterprise. Once we start making money, we can expand and eventually buy our own place," Rustam explained passionately to Valia. "We shouldn't spend our lives toiling for someone else. It's time to prioritize ourselves. And when we're financially stable, we can think about having children," he added, holding Valia close and showering her with affection. Rustam acquired a small tent near their apartment, where he sold an array of fresh fruits and vegetables. The demand for their produce was high, given the densely populated area they settled in. People delighted in purchasing sweet and succulent fruits, vibrant berries, aromatic herbs, and nutritious nuts, all contributing to their overall well-being. The income generated from their trade provided enough to sustain their daily needs. The young couple even managed to purchase a well-maintained second-hand car, which Rustam used to take Valia on a memorable trip to the seaside. It was Valia's first encounter with the vastness of the sea, and she was enchanted by the enchanting beauty it held, alongside the presence of the man she deeply loved. Gradually, an unsettling realization started to creep into Valia's mind. She couldn't ignore the signs any longer, even if she desperately wanted to deny them. Rustam, her beloved husband, was betraying her. Why hadn't he obtained her passport as promised? Why did he continuously evade taking her to the registry office? And where did he disappear to for days on end? Where was he during that entire week? These questions lingered, unanswered by Rustam or even by Valia herself. Then the nightmare began, and tonight it reached its painful conclusion. Valia gazed out the window from their 9th-floor apartment, watching as the sun rose on a new day. However, instead of feeling hope or optimism, she realized that her life had come to an end. It started with Rustam confessing that he had to sell the tent they had bought together with her hard-earned money due to mounting debts. "I'll repay everything, and we'll start a new business," he tried to assure Valia, attempting to placate her growing doubts. "What debts, Rustam? You told me things were going well." Valia attempted to make sense of the situation. She no longer believed his words, and each lie he told further fueled her frustration and anger. Their arguments escalated, and in the end, Rustam vanished without a trace. More than a week passed with no sign of him. Her calls went unanswered, and his phone seemed to be perpetually switched off. Tonight, Valia couldn't find solace in sleep. The full weight of her predicament finally dawned on her. She was left with nowhere to live, no money, no job, and no husband. It was a profound realization that struck her to the very core, signaling the depths to which her life had plummeted. Dialing Rustam's number once more, Valia listened to the prolonged beeps until someone finally picked up. A woman's voice greeted her on the other end, speaking with a noticeable accent. Despite the accent, Valia understood every word all too clearly. It was Rustam's true wife, the lawful one. The woman revealed that they had been married for a decade and had 3 children together. She sternly instructed Valia never to call this number again and to erase it from her memory. Terrible thoughts flooded Valia's mind, suffocating her with resentment. She felt an overwhelming weight on her chest, making it hard to breathe. The window beckoned her, offering what seemed like a solution to all her problems, a step into the void, an escape into darkness. There would be no more pain, no more despair, and no more bitter tears left unattended. Valia teetered on the edge, nearly ready to make a fateful decision. But then, an image of her mother materialized before her eyes. "My darling, please don't do this," her mother's voice echoed in her mind, reaching her like a whisper through a dream. "Daddy and I love you so deeply. You must be patient. Everything will work out. Have patience, my baby. Don't do what can't be undone. Life may be unfair, but we must endure and wait." In that moment, Valia leaped back from the windowsill into the safety of the room. Her body trembled as despair and resentment unleashed a torrent of tears from her eyes. They were tears that carried immense pain and unspoken grievances. "Mother, forgive me. Please forgive me," Valia whispered, her voice strained by the weight of her emotions. "I will live. I will try. I'll find a way. It will be for your memory. I will live." Valia slowly emerged from her slumber, her mind still immersed in a strange and vivid dream. The early morning light gently filtered through the curtains, casting a serene ambience in the room. The events of the terrible night and her desperate attempt to escape all her pain and problems had not been in vain. Valia had been enveloped in a deep sleep, a respite she desperately needed, akin to the air she breathed. In her dream, Valia found herself immersed in a body of warm and soothing water. Its embrace provided solace and comfort, as if it were healing the wounds of her soul. Surrounded by a multitude of vibrant lights and captivating colors, she was enveloped in a symphony of enchanting music. Bewildered by this unfamiliar place, Valia couldn't comprehend its true nature. Amongst the ethereal surroundings, Valia's gaze fell upon her mother, who had departed from this world several years ago. The smile adorned her mother's face, radiating love and warmth. Valia felt a profound sense of peace and familiarity in her presence, akin to the comforting embrace of her childhood. Her mother's voice resonated with gentle wisdom, sharing profound insights. "Life, my dear, is like a river," her mother spoke, her words carrying a timeless wisdom. "It ebbs and flows, sometimes turbulent and tempestuous, while in other places it finds serenity, winding through gentle streams and warm creeks. We must have patience, my precious girl. Trust in your own destiny and simply swim. The river will guide you to where you are meant to be." Valia resisted the urge to awaken from this dream. She wished to remain in this ethereal realm, where her mother's love and guidance surrounded her. As she slowly regained consciousness, the weight of her head felt as heavy as a lingering hangover. The memories of the merciless events from the previous night flooded back, crashing upon Valia's fragile being. The cruel betrayal by the man she had wholeheartedly loved and trusted, her desperate attempt to bring an end to her life. It was an overwhelming torrent of emotions. Yet, as the dream's echoes resonated within her, Valia clung to the wisdom imparted by her mother's words. With a renewed strength, she resolved to face the challenges ahead. Though wounded and scared, Valia would strive to trust in her own path, to navigate the currents of life's river with resilience and hope. The memory of her mother's love would be her guiding light as she sought to rebuild her shattered world. However, she held onto the memory of her dream and the profound message from her mother, finding solace in their presence. With unwavering determination, Valia made a resolute decision to embrace life, no matter the cost. The girl she once was, filled with naivety and a belief in miracles, had transformed. She understood that there were no miracles or effortless happiness in this world. Reality was cruel, and people could be just as harsh. To survive, she had to adapt and toughen herself accordingly. The first and most pressing task at hand was to secure a job that would enable her to continue paying the rent. Valia knew that finding employment was paramount to her survival. As fate would have it, a nearby water park caught her attention through an advertisement. It felt significant, given her recent dream about water. Valia interpreted it as a sign, an indication of the path she should follow. In her younger years, Valia had spent a considerable amount of time in the swimming section and had even achieved the rank of CMC, candidate for Master of Sports. Now, her well-honed skills and knowledge of water safety could be put to use. The water park seemed like a fitting place for her, as it required people with her expertise. Determined and resolute, Valia embarked on her journey to the water park. She carried with her the strength born from her dream, the memory of her mother's love, and the realization that she needed to navigate the harsh waters of reality with resilience and adaptability. The challenges ahead were daunting, but she was prepared to face them head-on. Valia knew that by utilizing her skills and staying true to the spirit of survival, she would carve out a new path for herself, one where she could reclaim her independence and find her place in the world once again. After completing the necessary formalities, Valia seamlessly joined the water park staff as an instructor, taking on the crucial responsibility of ensuring the safety of visitors enjoying the various water rides and pools. The job suited her well, providing a sense of purpose and gradually helping her to move past the deep wounds inflicted by Rustam's betrayal. She found solace in her work and the newfound camaraderie she developed with her colleague Anya. Anya, a kind-hearted and empathetic individual, quickly became a trusted confidant for Valia. When Anya learned about Valentina's harrowing story, she couldn't contain her outrage at Rustam's despicable actions. She suggested reporting him to the authorities, urging Valia to seek justice and let the betrayer face the consequences of his deceit. However, Valia responded with a sad smile, lacking faith in her luck or the possibility of receiving help in her situation. She believed that she alone had to bear the consequences of her choices and take responsibility for cleaning up the mess that was left behind. It was a burden she had come to accept, despite the injustice she had endured. Among the male instructors at the water park, Valia became the subject of attention, with some attempting to court her. However, her heart had hardened from the pain of betrayal, making it difficult for her to entertain any romantic advances. The scars left by Rustam's actions had made her cautious and hesitant to open her heart to anyone again. Valia focused on her work, finding solace in the daily routines of the water park. It provided her with a sense of purpose and stability, allowing her to gradually rebuild her life and regain her independence. While the wounds of the past still lingered, Valia remained determined to forge ahead, finding strength within herself and the support of those who showed genuine care and kindness. One fateful day, an incident occurred at the water park that would set in motion a series of wonderful changes in Valia's life. Amidst the bustling crowd, a child was on the brink of drowning, overlooked by his distracted parents who had become absorbed in their noisy group. Unaware of the danger lurking beneath the surface, the child found himself motionless at the bottom of the pool, his life hanging by a thread. In that critical moment, Valentina's instincts kicked in, propelling her into action without a second thought. With remarkable swiftness, she dove into the water, pulling the lifeless child to safety. Without hesitation, Valia commenced a series of life-saving maneuvers, administering artificial respiration and performing indirect heart massage. The child's condition was dire, bordering on clinical death, and Valia's skilled and prompt actions were the only hope for his survival. As the child gradually regained consciousness, the parents were overwhelmed with a mix of relief, gratitude, and guilt. However, in the chaos and commotion that ensued, there was no immediate expression of gratitude or acknowledgement directed towards Valia. Days passed, and Valentina continued her work, humbly embracing the sense of fulfillment that came from knowing she had saved a life. Then, unexpectedly, a delegation arrived at the water park during Valia's regular work shift. It consisted of the grateful parents whose child she had rescued and a local television crew. They had come not only to express their heartfelt gratitude, but also to capture Valia's heroic act on film, intending to share her remarkable story with the wider community. Amidst a mixture of emotions, Valentina stood in awe as the parents expressed their profound appreciation for her selfless and courageous actions. The local television crew interviewed her, capturing her heroic deed on camera and highlighting her exceptional skills as an instructor and a lifesaver. The news of Valia's heroism quickly spread, resonating with the hearts of people near and far. She became a symbol of bravery and compassion, inspiring others with her unwavering dedication to the safety and well-being of others. The water park honored her with recognition and appreciation, while the community embraced her as a true local hero. Valia's life took an unexpected turn as opportunities and doors began to open for her. Offers for advanced training as a professional lifeguard poured in, accompanied by invitations to speak at events and conferences focused on water safety. Through her courageous act, Valia had become a beacon of hope and an advocate for the importance of vigilance and responsibility in aquatic environments. As Valentina reflected on the transformative events that had unfolded, she couldn't help but feel a renewed sense of purpose and optimism. The terrible pain she had endured had not been in vain. It had forged within her a strength and resilience she had never known before. From that day forward, Valia embraced her role as a champion for water safety, dedicating herself to protecting and educating others, and finding profound fulfillment in making a positive impact on the lives of those around her. Overwhelmed by the unexpected gratitude and generosity, Valia stood in awe as the boy's mother praised her heroic actions. She blushed and attempted to downplay her role, insisting that it was simply part of her job, nothing extraordinary. However, the mother, holding a magnificent bouquet in her hands, insisted that Vala's swift and skillful resuscitation had been nothing short of a miracle. The doctor had affirmed that without Valia's intervention, their son would not have survived. She urged Valia to be remembered in their prayers. Touched by the mother's words, Valia listened as she continued to express their profound appreciation. With her husband Pavlik, a strong and towering figure beside her, the mother revealed that they had discussed and made a decision. Their gratitude and happiness extended beyond mere words. They considered Valia to be a guardian angel sent to protect their only child. As a testament to their appreciation and a lesson learned as parents, they had decided to bestow upon Valia a significant gift. With a mixture of astonishment and gratitude, Valia watched as the woman presented her with documents and a set of keys. It was the deed to an apartment, a place they owned, one of several vacant units. They had chosen to invest their extra resources in this gesture of kindness, believing it was the right way to express their gratitude. Overwhelmed with emotions, Valia struggled to find words. The depth of their generosity and the magnitude of their gift left her speechless. She attempted to protest, to express her unworthiness, but the mother insisted that there was no need for such words. They were not in a position of financial hardship, and having only one child, they believed that this was the way fate had guided them. With tears welling in her eyes, Valia accepted the documents and the keys, her heart bursting with gratitude. The mother wished her happiness, health, and a bright future, assuring her that their paths had crossed for a reason. As they departed, Valia stood there, holding the keys to her new home, a symbol of hope and a fresh start. In the days that followed, Valia couldn't help but reflect on the remarkable turn her life had taken. From the depths of despair, she had emerged as a hero, touched by the generosity and compassion of strangers. With a renewed sense of purpose and an abiding belief in the kindness of others, Valia embraced the opportunity to create a new chapter in her life. She moved into her new apartment, grateful for the safety and stability it provided. Valentina's story spread throughout the water park and beyond, inspiring others with the power of compassion and reminding them of the significance of their actions. She became a symbol of hope and resilience, and her heroic act continued to be celebrated and acknowledged. As Valia settled into her new home, she vowed to honor the gifts she had received by living a life filled with gratitude, kindness, and a deep commitment to helping others. She knew that the events that had unfolded were not just a stroke of luck, but a reminder that even in the face of adversity, goodness and unexpected blessings could emerge. With her newfound sense of purpose, Valia continued her work at the water park, now more determined than ever to ensure the safety and well-being of every visitor. She embraced her role as a guardian angel, cherishing the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of those she encountered. Valentina's journey, from despair to heroism to unexpected blessings, served as a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, and acts of kindness can illuminate the path ahead. For a long time, Valia struggled to believe that her newfound reality was not a dream. She stood in awe as she visited her small yet comfortable apartment, contemplating the process of moving and embracing this fresh start in her life. One day, a phone call disrupted her thoughts. An unfamiliar male voice identified himself as an investigator, disclosing that he was working on a case of fraud involving a certain individual named Rustam. It appeared that Rustam had not ceased his deceitful practices, continuing to victimize unsuspecting women. Some of these women had filed complaints, leading the investigation to Valentina's doorstep. The investigator urged Valia to come forward and provide her testimony if she had any grievances against Rustam. This call marked the beginning of a legal process, culminating in a trial where Valia faced Rustam, still struggling to comprehend how she had been so callously deceived. She realized that he was not the man she thought he was, an imposter who had shattered her trust and manipulated her emotions. However, despite the pain and betrayal, Valia held onto her mother's words from the dream she had cherished. She believed that her true love would find her and justice would prevail. She embraced the notion of waiting patiently, knowing that in due time, loving hearts would reunite. Her faith in life's journey was unwavering, acknowledging that it would bring both joys and sorrows, but ultimately tipping the scales toward a greater abundance of happiness. As Valia faced the trial, she found solace in knowing that she was not alone. The support of friends, newfound strength, and the pursuit of justice fortified her resolve. While the legal process unfolded, she focused on rebuilding her life, nurturing her own well-being, and fostering a sense of inner peace. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months, and during this time, Valia discovered her own resilience and found the strength to heal. She immersed herself in her work, connecting with the people she encountered at the water park, and embracing the opportunity to make a positive impact on their lives. And then, just as her mother's words had promised, destiny intervened. A genuine connection blossomed between Valia and a kind-hearted individual who saw her for the remarkable woman she was. Together, they embarked on a new chapter of love, trust, and shared dreams. Their hearts, scared but not broken, found solace and joy in each other's embrace. Valia's journey, from the depths of deception to the triumph of truth, served as a powerful testament to the indomitable spirit of the human heart. She emerged stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace the wonders that life had in store for her. Guided by the lessons learned, she embarked on a future filled with hope, gratitude, and a deep appreciation for the joys that awaited her. And as Valia looked back on her tumultuous past, she knew that her mother's words had held true. Love had prevailed, justice had been served, and her life had unfolded as it should. With a renewed sense of purpose and an unwavering belief in the goodness of the world, Valia stepped forward, ready to embrace the abundance of joy and fulfillment that awaited her on the journey ahead.